And you know me, bro, I never back the early kickoff. And you know me, bro, I never back the early kickoff. Back the early kickoff. And you know me, bro, I never back the early kickoff. Finesse like.
What's going on, people, and welcome to episode 2 of Never Back the Early Kickoff, the podcast that keeps you one step ahead of the bookies while having a laugh doing it. No filters, no nonsense, just solid picks, football banter, and a weekly reminder that backing the early kickoff ruins lives. My name is Leon, and I'm a broken man after this car crash of a weekend.
And I'm Josh, and I would say I'm the acca king, but definitely not even a prince after this weekend.
It's been a stinker, hasn't it?
It's been a horrible weekend. Just couldn't pick a bogey this weekend.
Mate, it's been a really, really bad weekend. Just a rough weekend all round my end. Like, it's one of them where, like, I'll put my hands up and say I've been poor. Like, I got a lot of things wrong. Like, bad weekend. Like, I don't know who performed worse this weekend, me or Mikel Arteta, mate, because he had a stinker as well. But that's another story. I ain't going to go into that.
Well, probably Villa, to be fair, though. They're the biggest losers.
You what?
Villa were the biggest losers.
Yeah, that's 10 men.
Oh, mate.
And still can't get it done against a promoted team. He's poor form, mate.
Can't even get forward to score a goal. Can't even score a goal. Then you right back, slats one straight at the keeper. He throws it in. And then, yeah. Downhill, absolute downhill.
Yeah,
like, no passion.
Yeah, well, Villa's result was very much just like my results in terms of betting this week, mate. Just got so much wrong. Poor performance. Timo Werner in front of goal, mate. Just couldn't score on anything. Just not good. But I don't think it's all my fault though, because I think like the refs have been against me this weekend. Like the refs.
Why?
The reffing standard is shocking in general.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
The reffing standard's poor. Like it's been poor for a while, but. Like this weekend in particular, like refs are just so many poor decisions and just not pulling cards out when they should. But so I lost Med a few times because of the referees, and don't worry because I'm definitely going to put some time aside in this podcast to name and shame. So that I will definitely be coming to that. So don't worry about that. But it sounds like it was a bad week at your end as well, mate.
Yeah, well, obviously Villa just another lacklustre, terrible performance again. Just no one seems to want it. Like, to just going forward was just not even creating anything and just getting absolutely battered by Sunderland. Then they go down to 10 men and they're still on top. And then for their goal, like, we're playing against 10 men, we 1-0 up. Come on, you've got the emphasis, you've been poor all season. Go on, kick on ahead now and do something. And no. Like, the ball's come up. Xhaka stood there in acres of space, no one's challenging him, he's just nods it down, back of the net, 1-1. And they'll take the point. Wouldn't you take a point at home, wouldn't you? When you got 10 men, like, and they were on top anyway, so we didn't deserve anything. And their keeper just absolutely threw it in anyway, so can't even moan and say it was a great goal.
Yeah, I mean it's not looking great for your lot. I mean, second bottom in the league, scored 1 goal, which was basically an assist from the keeper. Can't beat 10 men. It's looking like it's going to be a struggle for your boys in Emery this season. And then you got Europa League, ain't you, as well? So you got the 2 games every week, so it's going to be a slog. And I don't think Jadon Sancho and Harvey Elliott are the answers, mate, but it's early doors.
No, I agree. I thought we needed someone with a bit of pace on the wing, bit of trickery, and can actually do something. But instead he's got another slow winger that isn't arsed. Just wants to do... I don't even know what he does on the side because he definitely doesn't play football enough. And Harvey Elliott, I think he's not too bad, but I don't think he's the answer to all of our questions. And again, sticking him out wide, he's not a winger, he's another cam. Like, just in the team full of cams and no pace out wide. I don't think that's a big thing of why we're struggling so much.
Yeah, because I just think the balance of your team ain't right. Because like, at least you had, like, I know he's not the best, but at least you had Rashford last year who can offer a bit of a threat in behind. Everyone now is just going to be like, wanting the ball to feet, who ain't got pace. So not looking good for you, Villa boys. But I don't want to spend the next hour talking about Villa, mate, because that'll be painful. Because your team suck. So I think we should get into some betting talk.
Yeah, why not?
So we've spoken a bit about how it's not been a great week. But did you have any wins this week, or was it a complete and utter washout?
It was god awful. It's probably the worst week I've had in I don't know how long. My picks last week in the Champions League, in the bin. First game I had PSV and against Union, and they just completely shut the bed. Went down early, and then it was a penalty, and it just was god awful. I would watch a bit of the game, and they looked like they were the better team, but the other team just hit on the counter. Union just hit on the counter and just battered them on the counter. And then Benfica, you called it. Benfica had another nightmare. 2-0 up. 2-0 up, cruising, lost 3-2. And then, the weekend wasn't great either. So on Friday night, Shamrock Rovers over in Ireland let me down. They drew 1-1.
Another one of those lovely little obscure leagues that you love to have a little play in.
The top of the league by about 20 points. Like, they were away from home, but still, it's not like you have to cover.
I told you this last week, mate, when Racing Santander lost to Cultural Leonosa, top v bottom. Stay out, like, it's just, I don't know why top v bottom just lets you down so often.
It wasn't top v bottom, but it was top versus near the bottom. But they drew 1-1, and just as soon as I seen that, I was like, this isn't going to happen. Then on Saturday, I had the boost, so done 40 quid to 80 quid on Bet365 for Salah shot. And then I put all my 80 quid on Juve, Madrid, Munich and Benfica again. And then
what's going on with you and Benfica? Why are you betting on Benfica every week?
Just a little love affair, innit?
I was going to say, they've got Mourinho as manager now, so he might actually be...
Exactly. So first game in charge, weren't it? And then Juventus away to Verona drew 1-1. And then the other one I had 7 fouls on Sunday. And then, Fenerbahce, 6 out of 7. Fenerbahce let me down again. They drew 1-1. So...
that is painful.
Not a good week. And they were one of the teams I was most confident on.
Yeah, it sounds like you've had an absolute stinker your end. So did you get any wins at all?
Nah. Not a penny.
That's painful, mate.
I know. I
feel like you've got a few more greys coming through on your head compared to last week, mate.
Oh, mate.
Weeks like that will do that to you. That's horrible, that.
Yeah, that bird shit is getting stronger, man.
Oh, God. I feel like we need to have a talk after this podcast, mate, just to see if you're all right, because that's a bad week, that.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to Frank.
Oh, that is a bad week, mate. That is a bad week.
I know. How about you then? So talk to me.
Oh, to be honest, it's not much better on my end. The only thing I won was in play on Jury and Timber and Donnarumma. That was a 12-1, and thank goodness I won that, because it was looking like a very, very, very heavy weekend of losses. Winning that didn't put me in the green. I'm still in the red, but only a little bit in the red, so I can deal with that. But if Donnarumma hadn't been done for time wasting and Timber hadn't brought down Jeremy Doku, then it would have been one of my worst weekends, probably in the last 12 months.
Ever.
I wouldn't say ever, because there was a time during COVID, mate, where I was having some really bad weeks. That was back in the day when I was trying to understand and learn how you bet and what formulas you use and stuff, mate. So there was a lot of mistakes made back in the day. But if it weren't for that one win, then it would have been a nightmare this weekend. In terms of my losses, so the ones that hurt me the most, I'm not going to talk about all of them. I'm just going to talk about the ones that hurt me the most. 12:30, Merseyside derby, Liverpool-Everton, Anfield, Jack Grealish lining up against Conor Bradley. Jack Grealish gets fouled so many times every game. Conor Bradley's an aggressive right back. I was just looking at this like, this is going to be a money-making exercise. So I had Conor Bradley, first card. Conor Bradley fouls Jack 3 times in the first half. Nothing. Then Ilian and Dye pulls back Kirkes, gets booked. First offence. Brilliant. Cheers, ref. Thanks for that. I also had another bet, which was Bradley to commit 3 fouls, foul in each half, and to get booked. So he's done his 3 fouls in one half, does a foul in the second half, doesn't get booked. In my head, I'm thinking, right, there's got to be a point when refs are going to pull yellow cards out for persistent fouling. And I talked about Mbolo last week, and he done 8 fouls. So I don't know what they're doing over in France, but I actually went and looked up the rule on persistent fouling, because I've had enough of this.
What does the rule state?
I'm going to read it to you now. Persistent fouling in football is an offence under Law 12, where a player commits multiple fouls, even if they are minor or don't individually warrant a yellow card. Referees are expected to identify patterns, such as one player repeatedly fouling an opponent or a team collectively targeting a specific player, and should caution the next player from the infringing team for persistent fouling.
Okay.
So then I ask, what constitutes persistent fouling? A player commits several fouls in a short period, even if they are individually careless. Listen to this one. Targeting. The fouls are directed at a specific opponent, attempting to disrupt their play. Conor Bradley ended up on 4 fouls. Jack Grealish got fouled 6 times. So how does that not equate to persistent fouling?
It's the laws of the game.
What is the ref doing? And the ref was Darren England. And do you know what? I said this last week that I'm going to start naming and shaming refs, and it's happening this week. Darren England, I don't know what he's playing at. We need to check him into ref rehab, mate. He needs to sort himself out. Every week I'm going to name and shame these refs who just don't know what they're doing. Darren England did the first one in, mate, because, again, Jack Grealish fouled 6 times, Conor Bradley 4 fouls, and you just don't pull a card out. And then the icing on the cake was, I thought, do you know what? I can see Jack getting wound up here. He's mouthing off at the ref. He keeps getting fouled. He's going to get booked for mouthing off. So I go in, throw a bit on Jack, 10-1, thinking, right, I think this is going to come in. And then the ref doesn't book him. And then when the final whistle goes, he books him after the final whistle, which means it doesn't count. So I'm just like... So at 2:30 on Saturday, my head's already in the dustbin.
Right, you checked into Heartbreak Hotel.
I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. That's why I went to look up the rule. That's why I went up to look up Law 12, so I could understand what is going on. But I don't get it, mate. I don't get how someone can be fouled 6 times, 4 times by one player and him not get booked. Doesn't make any sense. So that got me off onto a bit of a bad start. The next one that wound me up was in the Rome derby. That was on Sunday morning. So
okay.
That was 11:30. That was Rome Lazio. Again, I had Selic first card because he was against Zaccagni, who's basically Italy's version of Jack Grealish, essentially.
Yeah.
Selic fouled Zaccagni 3 times. One of them was an elbow off the ball. just was didn't do nothing, just letting it carry on. And
didn't fancy it now. Didn't not fancy booking him.
No. And this ref's name was Simeone Sosa. I had to go and look this idiot up as well, because I was just like how many fouls again does it take for someone to have a yellow card? And this ref he refused to book anyone, and then randomly pulled a yellow card out in the 84th minute. And I was like where was this energy in the first half?
Yeah, that's annoying.
Referees just doing my head in, and that ref was trying to stop altercations. He was breaking up fights and everything. I'm like, that's not your job. You're there to referee the game. You're not there to act as a bouncer. If players are shoving and grabbing each other, let them do it and book them. Idiot,
yeah.
Mate. Idiot. So that one wound me up. And then the last one was City Arsenal. So obviously I won the one on that one, which I was happy about. But I had, at the start of the game, I put on Kuzanov and I had Timber. Because I thought Kuzanov's going to be against Eze and Timber's going to be against Doku. So I put it on before the lineups were out to get good odds. And then bloody Arteta goes and starts Trossard.
Yeah, that's a poor share from Arteta.
If Eze was against that Kuzanov, he definitely would have got booked. And then the thing to put salt in the wound was Kuzanov got injured and got subbed at half time. Nunez come on at right back to take over the sub on the bet. So I just needed a Nunez yellow. Do you see how much time Nunez was taking on throws?
Oh, he was taking ages.
I was just thinking to myself, you've just booked Donnarumma for time wasted. Nunez is literally spending, taking 20 seconds to throw the ball. They've got a law on the keepers who can only hold it in their hands for 8 seconds before it's a corner. Why is Nunez allowed to hold it in his hands for 25 seconds, not throwing it in? You're not doing nothing about it. I'm just sick and tired of these refs, mate. I'm only how many weeks are we into the season? 4 or something?
Yeah, but it's been 4 or 5 game days, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's it, mate. Honestly, refs are getting named and shamed. So Darren England and Simeone Sosa, those are the 2 this week. Not happy with either of them 2 fellas. But that's my rant over, mate. So bad week for me, bad week for you. Right, mate. Let's put last week's disaster class behind us. There's nothing we can do about it. It's yesterday's news. Let's focus on this week and let's try and find some value. Let's get some winners and let's set the record straight. So I'm going to kick it over to you, mate. Where's the value this week? What are you going for in terms of accas?
Well, of course we're going to win. We are going to smash it. So
That's what I like. I like that positive attitude, mate. That's what we need.
exactly, it's all about the positive mental attitude. So yeah, this week I'm not looking at much in the week, to be honest, from an acca point of view, because I think with the AFL, the Carling Cup, I think it's going to be too tight to know who's going to be playing who and what teams are going to be putting out. And then the Conference League and the Europa League is always a bit of a gamble as well, because they might be resting some players for the league game. The top teams anyway might be resting players for the league games on the weekend. Obviously Villa are playing Bologna, and it might need freshening up, it might need a change, so we don't actually know what he's going to go with. So yeah, I'm going to just look straight ahead to Saturday really. You got Celtic at home to Hibs. Obviously we all know Celtic are a strong team and the best team in the league by far, because the Rangers aren't doing anything this year. But Celtic have won the last 4 head-to-heads against Hibs, scoring 2 to 3 goals each time. So really consistent. They've only conceded one goal at all season so far in 5 games. So I think that's a pretty easy one to pick. Over to the Netherlands, PSV. They're dominant. They're playing Elixir. 5 wins in 5, scoring 3 to 6 goals per game. They've got 19 goals in 6 games this season. So they're flying. Elixir sit 14th, so conceded 13, so that's 2 a game. They score over 2 a game, so I think that's again another one that's nailed on.
I've never even heard of Elixir, so that just makes you think that PSV are going to pump them.
Yeah, Ajax at home to NAC Breda. So Ajax have won 4 out of 5 head-to-heads, usually by 2+ goals, and they're struggling near the bottom. So they've scored 6, conceded 10, so Ajax are going to be on it. They're going to set the record straight from the last few seasons where they've been a bit poor. And then the last one, I think Stockport versus Reading. I think Stockport are a good team for that league. They're flying. They're unbeaten in the last 3. Drew with Cardiff, who are probably the best team in the league, and they beat Rotherham away. So Reading are poor away. They've got two losses. So yeah, Stockport to beat Reading, and Stockport beat them in the last 2 games as well, 4-1 and 3-1. So I think the acca for me is Stockport, Ajax, PSV, and Celtic this weekend. What are you thinking?
Well, I've been back and forth with this. I've been thinking about Europa League, EFL, and I think I'm on the same page with you. Well, definitely with the EFL. Like you just don't know. The Prem teams usually put out the reserves, or just giving people game time who don't usually play. So you can't. And I don't know enough about like League 2 teams and stuff for like fouls and cards and stuff.
Yeah.
For those games, I'll probably just be keeping an eye on the data. And so if there's like players rocking up 3, 4, 5 fouls, as long as Darren England's not reffing, then I'll be probably committing to in-play cards. But the games that I'm going to be focusing on, there's 3 games. 1 Europa League game, you mentioned it, Villa versus Bologna. Reason being, Bologna, I love Bologna. Bologna play a style where they get the ball to their wingers and just let their wingers have a go every time. So they've got a left winger called Cambiani who gets fouled like 4 times a game. And I'm praying that Unai Emery rolls out Matty Cash. I'm praying. If he puts Matty Cash against this kid, Matty Cash is going to get booked and he's going to commit many fouls. Then they've got a geezer on the other side called Orsolini. I'm sure he's their captain. He's quite tricky as well.
Yeah, I recognise the name.
Yeah, because you played Bologna in the Champions League a few years ago.
Yeah.
Last year? Was that even last year?
Yeah.
So like, they had Dan and Doy last year, but this Cambiani's replaced Dan and Doy, so I think if Luca Digne or Matson play against Orsolini, that could be something. And then, and then you've got Matty Cash against Cambiani. So I really like the look of that game. And plus then you've got, if you play Morgan Rogers, like European teams can't handle Morgan Rogers because of his athleticism and the way he drives with the ball.
Yeah.
So Bologna have a couple of centre mids like Lewis Ferguson, like who's just a dirtbag, and like I've got another one now and his name escapes. Freuler. There's another one.
Oh yeah.
They have them 2 sitting. So like one of them will definitely get carded if Rogers plays in cam. So Bologna Villa is going to be a lot of fouls under the lights at Villa Park, a lot of cards. So I like the look of that one. Second game I've got is I'm going to take it to Spain, man, and I can see you wearing your Real Madrid jersey, mate. So it's Los Blancos versus Atletico Madrid, mate, Madrid derby, because that, especially this early on in the season, that's going to be littered with it. Well, that's going to be littered with it because Diego Simeone teams are always combative. They're always up for a fight. He won't let his team lie down. So you know it's going to be nasty. So that's what I'm going to keep an eye out for. I can't commit to players yet because I don't know who's going to be starting, because Madrid have changed, under Alonso, they've changed the personnel a little bit. And Jude Bellingham's back from injury as well now. So I don't know who he's going to start with. But the players I'll be keeping an eye on are Tchouaméni. He's been getting a few cards under Alonso. Camavinga, if he comes on at all, I don't think he'll start, but he might come on. Bellingham, if he comes on, because I think he'll come on from the bench. Danny Carvajal, if he starts, which I think he will against Atletico. So there's a lot of players on the Madrid side I like. And then on Atletico side, you've got, if Conor Gallagher starts, he's always good for one.
Yeah.
He's always very good for a card. He's definitely one to keep an eye on for Atletico. So that's going to be, again, full of fouls, full of cards. And the last one's going to be Newcastle Arsenal on Sunday. St James's. At the Emirates, we always lay down and die, and it's not a good game. But at St James's, we're always up for a battle. And Eddie Howe rested Joelinton and Bruno G against Bournemouth. I can't imagine him bringing them back in against Bradford in the week. So they're going to have 4 weeks rest. They're going to be bang at it. Arsenal obviously didn't beat City. They're going to want to come and get a win. So I can see we've had a really crap start to the season. So we're going to want to get a win at home. So again, I think that game's going to be full of it. Usual suspects: Joelinton. Bruno Guimaraes always seems to get booked against Arsenal, so he's a good one to keep an eye out for. Anthony Gordon will be back from injury. I mean, not injury, from suspension, from his 3-game ban after he scythed down Van Dijk. I still don't know why he done that. So even though Jurian Timber got booked against Doku, I think he's in for a rough game against Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, he's
left one-on-one against Gordon's in for a tough game. So you've got Jurian Timber, you've got Joelinton, you've got Bruno Guimaraes, and then it depends how Arsenal line up. If they play Eze on the left, and if we've got Trippier on the right, that could be another one where I think there'd be a card. But I think Arsenal, Newcastle at St James is going to be a tasty affair. So yeah, those are the three that I'm going to focus on.
Okay then. So
as always, what we'll do is we'll post sort of our predictions across socials to keep an eye out for them. Because obviously I'll need to wait for lineups before I can commit to first player cards, in-play cards and those sorts of things. So do keep an eye out for the ones we're going to post. Okay, so this week's betting topic, mate, I think to sort of continue the theme of this episode, is biggest losing stake. So what was the highest stake that you've actually lost on a bet in relation to football? I think this is a good one to do because it's going to probably make me feel a little bit better that I've not lost that much this weekend. And then no matter how bad it is, it can always be worse. But I'm going to hand the floor to you, mate. Biggest losing stake. What you saying?
So yeah, there's a couple of big juicy boys where I've started doing bet builder. So I started with like 10, 20 quid and built up to a decent amount, and then it's just not coming. So one of them, I was Champions League night. I'd probably been building it for like 3 or 4 days. So got from like 10, 20 quid, added it up, got up to 250 quid. It was Man City versus, I think it was Olympiacos in the Champions League. Built another bet across the game or a couple of games. And all I was waiting for was Olympiacos card and then over 1 card in the game. So just 2 cards in the game. That's all that was needed was left. So the Olympiacos player got booked nice and early, so I just needed 1 more card from either team. They were kicking the shit out of Man City, and just nothing. Just nothing. Like, I think it was like one of them games where the team ended up on like 20 fouls.
Oh, and there's only 1 card?
Yeah. No, that was just 20 fouls for one team.
Just Olympiacos done 20 fouls and they only got 1 booking.
Yeah.
That's one of them where you just know the ref was just taking sympathy on them. It's a good job, mate, because if that happened now, mate, then that ref would have been named and shamed this week. So he's got away lightly, whether that character was. So how much was that stake then?
About 250.
Oh.
And then I've got one that's even worse.
Oh,
yeah,
250.
So another time, went to Naples to watch Napoli play. started the builder at the start of the weekend, got up to 500 quid. And then this was only last year. I can't remember the name of the player, but we had some player in Spain to do a foul. He was even, so we wanted it to pay for the whole weekend. So that's why we didn't take the 500. Like, okay, get to £1,000, and then that's our weekend paid for. Happy days. And yeah, had this player just to do a foul in the game. He averaged probably 80 minutes per game, and yeah, he didn't do a foul. And then there was no sub-insurance on that one because he was in Spain. And then the player that he got replaced come on and done a foul within the first 3 minutes of the second half. So that was 500 quid stake.
So did you put the 500 just on the foul?
Yeah, just to double the money. Cause it was like, huh?
Just that one player to do a foul?
Yeah, it wasn't like a first half foul, just was to do a foul in the game.
80 minutes, and he got pulled after 80 minutes. And
They got pulled at half time because he was having a shot. And he wasn't the sub-insurance.
Did that ruin your trip to Naples?
It was hard. It was a hard pill.
Stop eating out at pizzerias and go to a local supermarket to get some noodles, mate. One of them.
Exactly, mate. Just ate dust, mate. Free.
That is disgusting. 500 sheets on a player to do a foul in 90 minutes and him get... That's bad, that.
Yeah, like a CDM kind of player as well.
For me, it's the fact that he got pulled at half time and the guy that come on and just nailed someone straight away. It's just you just can't write these stories sometimes with betting. It's a joke. Like it is a joke. Oh dear, that's funny. That have you got any others or?
No, those are the two worst ones.
The worst ones. I mean, mine's painful, but I wouldn't say it's as painful as that. Mine was it's actually quite topical actually with the Atletico or the Atletico Real Madrid derby coming up.
I remember this one firmly.
Yeah, mine was an in-play, Jude Bellingham, yellow card. So, set the scene. Had a few drinks, and this is a prime example to don't bet while you're under the influence because you will make poor choices. So, had a few drinks. It was a Sunday night. Madrid derby, 8 o'clock kickoff. I checked the stats. Jude Bellingham had been booked in the last 3 games against Atletico Madrid. So already he's on my radar. I'm thinking, right, good chance Jude's going to get one today. While I was in this bar, just pull my phone out, get the game up, and I'm just watching the first 10, 15 just to get a sense of, is he looking like he's going to do something stupid? Within 5 minutes, he absolutely smashed, I think it was Koke, he's absolutely smashed someone within 5 minutes. It should have been a yellow card. Like, but it's one of those ones where the refs clearly thought, it's a derby, I don't want to book someone within 10 minutes because I'm going to have to just keep booking people. So he's literally let him off. And I thought, right, he's 100% going in. For some reason, his odds were 5-1. So I was like, he's 100% going in today. Just stuck 200 quid on him because that would have got me £1,000. And I thought, right, that is £1,000 in the bank. Already thinking about how I'm going to spend that money because there was no doubt he was going to get booked. Then I remember I was at the bar and I talked the bartender into putting on the same bet. Like I just convinced him to do it, and he went and done it as well. So
he put 100 quid.
Yeah, I think he put 100 on. So I'm mindful to try and avoid that person at all costs moving forward because that was some bad advice by me. But yeah,